Every time I see that video, I cry, man. It's right when my dad says he's proud of me. I just freaking, oh my God. Gets you working. Thank you all for having me today. I appreciate everyone's efforts to come into this room right here and be present. So I'm a little emotional right now. I know we got cameras out. I need everyone to do a favor for me real quick. Can we all just take a deep breath? Let's just be here. Let's not worry about problems of tomorrow. Let's not worry what happened and how we got here. Let's support one another today. That's going to be the theme of today, is supporting one another as a village, as a community. That's what it's all about, giving to others without the intent to receive. One of the first times I ever felt support, genuine support, I was one of those kids that never got home for dinner on time, ever, ever, ever. I was always playing something down the street. As soon as the sun would go down, it was like, okay, that was kind of my time, my cue, I got to go back. Eventually, my parents, my dad, he got me a watch. He got me my first ever watch. And he said, Alec, I'm going to need you at home for dinner at 6 p.m. I'm going to need you home, bro. I said, okay, Dad, I got you. I'll be home this time. I know how to read the watch. It's like, the whole short arrow, that's down, that's 6 o'clock. I'll be home for dinner. I'll make it. But there's a football game going on down the street. Me and my best friends. I'm about 8 years old in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're going back and forth. It's about November. It is cold. You guys know what it's like, right? In that fall, winter time period, it's freezing, but we're having the time of our lives playing a game, just with a football. I check my watch. It's about 5:45, and my team's down 2 touchdowns. We got to make a comeback, right? We got to make some plays. I'm like, guys, let's pick it up. We hit a 1 touchdown. I get an interception. It's a pick 6. We got a tie game. I look at my watch, and it's 6:05. I'm like, dang. So now I have to make a decision. I have to make an intentional decision here. Do I run up the hill back to my house knowing I'm already a little late, or do I finish the game? We're finishing the game. We got to finish the game now. I hit my best friend in stride right over the shoulder for a touchdown. He scores, we do a little celebration, and I'm booking it back up this hill in Green Bay, Wisconsin in November. And now you guys know what November weather's like. When you're running really hard, that cold air that's hitting your lungs, you're pushing through that thing. It's hard work. My legs are jello. I'm running up this hill as fast as I can. I'm running. I'm booking it. My lungs hurt. My legs, I can't feel them anymore. They're burning. I turn the corner. My dad's sitting there right on the porch. Oh, I know I'm about to get it, man. I know I'm in trouble. I walk up. My head's down a little bit. My tail's between my legs, so to speak. I walk up to the front door, and my dad said, you want to play some catch out in the front yard? I said, what? I'm not in trouble? He's like, no, let's go play some catch. I said, bet, let's do this. Like, I was just playing football down the street. I'm telling him all the plays. I'm telling him how we just won the game. We had a comeback. I'm telling him about the watch, how I kind of knew that I was late, but I also had to finish the game, hoping I wouldn't get in trouble. And we're just playing catch in the front yard, just having the time of our lives. And eventually, we're playing and I'm throwing. I could just feel something. I had a gut feeling. I don't know what it was. I said, Dad, something's going on. Like, I don't know what is up right now, but something is happening. He said, come here, son. He brings me over to the corner of our lot in the front yard. He said, get on my shoulders. So I get up on his shoulders. If I got really quiet and I reached up as high as I could, over the tree line, there were stadium lights. He said, son, that's the high school football field down the street. Those sounds that you're hearing, those turned into whistles, that turned into cheering, those turned into touchdowns, that turned into the PA announcer. The feeling and emotion that I got on my dad's shoulders at that front corner of my lot, 2 miles away, I could feel the connection and the power of the game of football. I could feel it. It was contagious. At that moment, I fell in love with the game. That is a core memory as an 8-year-old kid in Green Bay, Wisconsin, that I carry with me every single day. So all the parents in here, little piece of advice. If your kid's showing up a little late and he's hustling, trying to get back on time, there's going to be times for discipline for sure, and I was ready for it. It's real. But there's also times to be present, to be there, to create those core memories for your kids. That's something that I will always take with me. So I'm falling in love with the game of football, right? I love it. Love everything about it. The teamwork, the camaraderie, the work, the offense, the defense, special teams. Doing everything I possibly can to play this game for as long as I possibly can. To climb that mountaintop. Now, I'm always a visionary guy, right? I can see the mountaintop. I can see it, I can believe it, and then it's like, I'm going to go work as hard as I possibly can to achieve it, right? That's in me. I was born with that. But along the way, on that journey, on that climb up that mountain, there's a lot of hard things that happen. There's a lot of things that you got to face head on. Adversity, problems, overcoming it. And I can't do that alone. I need that support. It always looked a little bit different, right? You saw my parents, they don't look like me. I passed them up in height when I was about 12 years old. It was no secret that I was adopted. But I knew in my heart that I needed that team. I needed that support to be the best version of myself. I knew that at a very young age. So for all the kids here that are going through, and your family situation looks a little bit different than everybody else, that's your superpower. You have the power to be the best version of yourself. You get to blaze your own trail. You get to believe in that mountaintop, whatever it looks like, because you have a support system. And not everybody looks like you, teachers, parents, coaches, family members. But you get to walk and own that support, receive that support, and give that support right back. What I mean by that is I'm playing and I'm doing my thing in high school now. State Player of the Year as a quarterback. Playing ball, crushing it. State records, scores, touchdowns, all of that. And I'm looking to get my first ever scholarship offer to the University of Wisconsin. And they told me, you're not tall enough. You can't throw the ball far enough. I said, that's okay. I'll do whatever it takes. Offer me as an athlete. I'll just figure it out. So I get this scholarship offer. I go to the University of Wisconsin, and now I'm kind of on my own again, right? I go off at 18 years old, and I got to blaze my own trail. That support system looks a whole heck of a lot different. I switched from playing quarterback my whole life to the coaches saying, maybe you should try linebacker, play some defense. So I did that to the very best of my ability. Tried to play ball as best I can. Just get me on the field, coach. Let me play. I just want to be out there with the guys. Eventually, all the running backs get hurt. They're like, Alec, you just ran for 2,700 yards as a senior in high school. You think you could do that for us at the University of Wisconsin? I said, Coach, please give me the ball. Let's go. I'll play running back. I'll do whatever it takes. I switched to running back. I scored 9 touchdowns as a true freshman at the University of Wisconsin. I led the team. As a part of that team, I found my role. I found my way onto the football field. But then, all those running backs got healthy the very next year. So now, coach sits me down. He says, what do you think about playing fullback? It's like, well, I kind of want to touch the ball still. Like, I go from quarterback to linebacker, running back. Now you want me to move again? He said, Alec, I think you can make a career in this. I think you can make a living in this. A guy that I've worked with for only a couple years, doesn't look like me, doesn't talk like me, doesn't have the same background as me. I said, I trust you. I believe in you. I'll be willing to move to this football spot. You see a vision for me, I'm going to go make it happen. There's a new mountaintop. There's a new goal. But that's okay. We can work together because I'm not alone. My sophomore year, I'm splitting time. I'm doing my thing. I'm playing ball, making plays for the University of Wisconsin. And my junior year, I get benched. There's a senior that was a little bit more dedicated, focused in a little bit harder. I was going through some things, man. I'm 21 years old, trying to figure out my way. I feel like I'm away from my parents and my family. I'm losing my mind a little bit, losing my focus, and I get benched. And I'm sitting down there like, how did this happen? My entire life, it's always been achievement after achievement, success after success. And this is the first time in my life at 21 years old where I'm taking a step backwards. Like something's wrong with me. All of a sudden I'm starting to feel like, am I not good enough? Are people going to accept me? Are they going to abandon me? Is my scholarship going to go away? I start freaking out. And eventually there's a man that comes into my life. His name's Steve. He's the FCA director at the University of Wisconsin. And he sat me down one day at Camp Randall Stadium in the bleachers, empty stadium. We're just looking out at the field. Another guy that doesn't look like me, doesn't talk like me, doesn't have the same background as me. He said, Alec, if you were the starting fullback tomorrow, would you be ready? Are you doing all of the things that you should be doing to be able to make that happen. So you're an accountable teammate, so people can trust you. Do you trust yourself? And then he held a mirror in front of my face. He said, tell it to yourself, yes or no. I couldn't lie to myself in that moment. I said, Steve, I'm not ready. I need to go back to class. I need to focus in on just controlling what I can control. The circumstances around me are moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I need to go back to the basics. I need to control what I can control. I need to work on my work ethic. I need to be an accountable human being. I want to make sure that I can trust myself and believe in myself so that then other people can trust and believe in me. So we start doing this work. Another guy that doesn't look like me says, you know what, Alec? We've only been talking for a little bit here. I want to let you know that I love you. I care about you. It does not matter how many stats you rack up, how many touchdowns you score. I will always love and support you. Now, as an adopted kid, that is like, whew, that's real. That's what I needed in that moment. And I was able to say, you know what? Someone's going to be here for me. So I can go back, I can try, I can control what I can. I'm going to work extremely hard knowing the results don't matter. It's the process. It's the human being. It's the type of person that I'm trying to become day after day after day. 2 weeks go by, and the starting fullback gets hurt. Alec, it's your turn to go in. University of Illinois, are you ready? We're on the road, and we're kind of on the ropes. We need you. Scored 2 touchdowns against the University of Illinois, right off the bench, ready to go. Very next week, University of Indiana, starter still hurt, 3 touchdowns, 1 game for a fullback. Man, the results showed up just like that. But it wouldn't have happened without that conversation from a man that doesn't look like me, doesn't talk like me, doesn't have the same background as me, and saying that I love you, and being able to receive that support. So those 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks as a junior might not seem like too much, but that helped me go into this senior year knowing that I could make something of myself, knowing and believing that there's a mountaintop out there. I'm at point A, right at the bottom of this thing, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to climb it. So I have an intentional decision to make. How do I possibly just be the best version of myself day after day after day? It was this self-talk, man. It was the willingness to go through whatever I went through on a daily basis and say, I'm not doing this for coach. I'm not doing this for the teammates, whatever. I'm going to control what I can control so I can be the best version of myself. 100%. Let's go all in. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this dream can happen. Making it to the NFL, playing that game, remembering that moment when I was on my dad's shoulders at 8 years old, falling in love with that emotion, that feeling a game could give you. So let's go. I don't know if you guys drive in to work early ever or late, and you see them yellow flashing lights at the stoplights because there's no traffic to stop. I saw that for like 4 months straight on my little moped in Madison, Wisconsin, freezing cold out, because I was going to be the first one in and the last one out. I was committed to changing. So for all these kids here that have goals and dreams and working hard, there's going to be a moment where like, you know what? I'm going to get after this thing. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And it's going to be uncomfortable the first couple of days. People are going to be like, why are you showing up so early? Why are you trying so hard? That's not what you did last week. You're kind of changing on me. It's like, no, I'm growing. I'm not changing, I'm growing. One day turns into 1 week, turns into 1 month, and soon, that's who you become. Those habits that you build because you want to accomplish something, you're doing what you need to do so you can do what you want to do, that's laying the groundwork to achieve your dreams. And finding that support along the way, the Steves in your life, the coaches in your life, the family members in your life that may not look like you, may not talk like you, accepting that support and giving it back. That's what it's all about. So along this journey in my senior year, I go and I'm checking this draft board, right? I'm looking at this draft stock. Dude, I'm not anywhere to be found. I was a backup. But I knew in my heart, that's okay. You can believe what you want to believe. I know I'm going to be at the top of this thing by the end of the year. I'm going to work day after day after day, being the best version of yourself, talking to myself that way. A simple phrase that I could repeat over and over and over again. Pretty soon, you get named a starter. And then week 2, you make a couple plays. And then at the University of Iowa, at night, when everyone is loud and screaming their tails off, you can take an end-around run 34 yards in the fourth quarter to ice the game, win a big trophy. It's a big old pig, and you get to carry off with all your teammates. And all of these little success steps, they start building, and they start building. All of a sudden, NFL coaches start coming to practice. Is he going to class? Is he doing everything he needs to be doing? Is he a good kid? Is he leading? Pretty soon you get named a team captain in the middle of the year, and things are building towards your dream. Bought in, all in, to the point where I'm the only fullback invited to the Senior Bowl, only fullback invited to the Combine, and I get a call from my agent late April 2019. And he says, Alec, you're going to be drafted about 5th, 6th round. Why don't you have everybody over at your house so you can have a meal and you can enjoy this NFL draft experience together? You did all the work. You sacrificed along the way. You're at this mountaintop. Have a party, celebrate it. I said, all right. So I went out. First thing you think an NFL player would do, I went car shopping with my dad. That's the first thing I did. We went to the BMW section. We went to the Audi section. We went to the Mercedes section. I'm looking up how much a draft pick gets, $100,000, $200,000. Okay, all right, I can afford this. We had a big old room. Half the town of Swamico, Wisconsin was in my parents' living room for the NFL draft. The same house, the same lot that I fell in love with the game of football. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm seeing all of the faces, all of the support, all the people that were there for me, all the Steves, all the coaches, all the teachers, all the friends, all the family members that don't look like me, that don't talk like me, that don't have the same background as me, there to support. They can't wait to see our dream come true together. This is the moment. There's a big old ESPN camera in the corner, the big old red light, just waiting for that call. My phone rings. 5th round. Hello, Coach? Hey, Alec, this is Brian Daboll with the Buffalo Bills. I just want to let you know that we loved you in the whole draft process. We're really looking forward to it. I'm on the table trying to get this pick. Hey, keep your phone on you. We got a couple picks in the 6th and 7th round. Just keep your phone on you. I said, Coach, I thought this was the call. I thought I just got drafted. He's like, no. Just if this number calls, just be ready to pick it up. I said, all right, thanks, Coach. Hung it up. And I have to announce to everybody, I didn't get drafted. We got to wait a little bit longer. But there's interest. Things are going to happen. Pretty soon, my phone starts ringing from Nashville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans call up. Same story. 5th round comes and goes. I'm like, okay, there's some interest. 6th round, no calls. 7th round, 4 hours, sitting in the same spot in my parents' living room. It's about 1,000,000 degrees. Nobody is moving. Everyone's nervous. No calls. I go undrafted. 32 NFL general managers and head coaches told me, after I gave everything I possibly had, every ounce of strain, of work, of commitment, of purpose, I put it all into this dream. They say, you're not good enough. That's the biggest fear in my life, being told I'm not good enough. Because there's a man out there that I've never met before as a child where I felt like he abandoned me. He said, you're not good enough for me. And then to try your hardest, to chase a goal, to chase a dream. And for 32 of the people that are gatekeeping to the mountaintop tell you that same exact thing at 22 years old. That's pain. That's the fear of abandonment. That's why people don't try so hard. I get a call from the Oakland Raiders, John Gruden at the time, Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coordinator, and they recruited me as an undrafted free agent to the Oakland Raiders. As soon as the last pick of the draft, that was the next phone call. I was able to walk out in front of a room just like this and say, hey guys, I know I didn't get drafted, but I have an opportunity to go and compete and possibly win a job for the Oakland Raiders. I'm going to be a Raider. Everyone stands up and cheers. Everyone's excited. Everyone's, they kind of know what happened, but they're still, it was that moment. That was our moment. It was our circumstance as a village, as a family, as a bunch of people chasing a dream together. But there's a few people in that room that really knew what it meant. Undrafted free agent fullback. You're probably going to get a cup of coffee in the NFL, and then you're going to be right back here. No cars. You might be selling cars pretty soon, but that was it. The very next day, I have to take a flight out to Alameda, California, and I need to go try and figure out what the heck I'm going to do to make the NFL. And my dad sat me down on the porch. He said, "Son, it's time for you to go take a grown man's job. That's what it is. Whatever you did in the past wasn't good enough, and that's okay. You've learned a lot along the way. You have a lot of support here. Go out and take a grown man's job." So to my parents out here, I told you how important it was to kind of just be present with your kids every once in a while, maybe not discipline. There's also a moment to tell them what they need to hear. Because at that moment, I needed to hear that. It wasn't just a pat on the back. It wasn't a go get 'em, Tiger. It was a, I've been there with you from day one. I know exactly what you need to hear in this moment, and this is what's going to get you over the top. And it was hard to hear. My dreams are just crushed. But in that one conversation in the same house that I fell in love with the game, that the game broke my heart, my dad, who'd been there, helped me put the pieces together. So I took that flight. I was ready to go. I'm dialed in, ready to make this team, lifting as much weight as I possibly can, practicing on field 2 when all of the starters are over on field 1. But I am working, man. The very fancy Hampton Inn and Suites with a roommate for 4 months. We had continental breakfast every morning. It was great. I didn't afford a car, so I was biking to work every single day. But I had Be the Best You right on my window. Every morning when I woke up, I saw that mirror, looked myself in the face, be the best you. Committed to it. There were moments where vets would come up to me like, "Bro, why are you trying so hard? You know you're going to get cut in like 2 months." I didn't have a good answer for him. That's the reality of the NFL. But I just kept working. I started to find these little hints and tweaks along the way. Oh, I didn't realize that whatever the script was for Field 1 with the head coach and the coordinators, that's the same script as Field 2. And now I know I'm on Field 2, but nobody's really watching me. But I can still get these reps. I can still work hard. I can still be studious. I can still try and do everything I can for the fullback and the running back. So that's what I did. We'd be over on Field 2, and we'd have a wide receiver, Marcel. He'd catch it, one-handed catch. Coach would peek it out of the corner of his eye. He's like, "Hey, Marcel, come over to Field 1. It'd be a simple run play, going 18 weak to the right side. Marcel would go block to the left. All right, Marcel, you're back on Field 2. Didn't know the playbook good enough. I never got that opportunity. For 4 months, living in a hotel with a roommate at Hampton Inn Suites, that waffle, I can smell a Hampton Inn Suites lobby from a mile away. That coffee, I know exactly what it smells like. But I was working diligently, giving my best effort, authentically giving myself, knowing that one day I might have that opportunity to go over to Field 1. For 4 months, it didn't happen for me. Think about that. You truly try your hardest for 4 months after getting your heart broken. You're just waiting for this opportunity. It's not coming. Eventually, we have our very first day up in training camp. We go up to Napa Valley, California. Hard Knocks is there. Antonio Brown is flying in from a hot air balloon. We have other people in Brinks trucks. I'm in my full head-to-toe Raiders gear, ready for work. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. And I get a call from Coach Gruden. And he said, "Alec, our starting fullback just tore his meniscus. He's going to be out for 3 weeks. We're going to need you over at Field 1. That call was a call to greatness. And there's opportunities in your lives. All you kids here right now, there are going to be moments in your life where you get a call, and it is an opportunity for greatness, to be the best version of yourself. It'll show up in the most weird ways. You'll never know when it's coming, but if you're prepared, if you're working hard, if you're accepting the support from the people around you, when you get that call, you get excited. You're like, "Yes, sir, I can't wait. I can't wait to show you what I've been up to. Cannot wait to show everybody else how hard I've been working." Because if you've been skipping corners, you've been cutting it, nobody really cares. I don't really need to work as hard as I need to today. You get that call to greatness, you might have to go study that playbook a little bit more. You might be stressed out a little bit. That's the importance of preparation and support. So I got that call, and the very first day, I get to go block Vontaze Burfict. Now, I don't know if you guys know who that man is. He's literally kicked out of the NFL for being too physical, like he hits people too hard. He was 265 pounds of angry, nasty. He was a Cincinnati Bengal for a long time. He was the captain of our defense. He's got me about 40 pounds, about 10 years of experience, and I said, I'm going to block that man. And it's not just me blocking him. I'm going to let everybody know. I'm going to let the coaches know that he knows that I know that I can block him. That's how hard it was going to be, and I was willing to do it. So the first day I line up, we get 15 week. I'm ready to do everything I possibly can to make a statement. I blocked this man so hard through the whistle. I felt amazing. He just looked at me. He's like, all right, Rook, we'll see how you're feeling in about 3 weeks from now. I was like, what do you mean 3 weeks from now? I didn't remember that I had to carry all the helmets and shoulder pads after practice. I had to wake up early to lift before. I couldn't use the cold tubs. My locker, I didn't have my own locker. I was sharing with another undrafted guy who happened to be getting cut every single year. They started saying in the locker room, my locker was cursed because there was a new person every 3 days in it. That was the reality of the situation I was in. So 3 weeks go by. Vontez is still there. But I had this purpose. I had so many people along the journey that poured into me. I wasn't going to let any of them down. I wasn't going to let Steve down. I wasn't going to let my coaches down. I wasn't going to let my parents down. I wasn't going to let myself down. So I had to dig deep. I'm sore. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to do it anyways. Blocked him again, right through the whistle. Said, all right, Rook, we'll see you in about another week. Like, what the heck is this man talking about? Why is he so confident? All the starters, they get to sit for the preseason games. I didn't have a backup, so I played in every single preseason game. So I would have to go from practice, we'd have to travel, fly, play a game, and then come back the very next day. All the vets, they're rested, and all the rookies, ooh, that body's hurt and sore, and there's no ice tub for me to fall into. I couldn't use it. Showed up right after that game, I blocked him again. And eventually, day after day after day, there's a preseason game in Canada. And my parents are from Wisconsin. It's the closest game that they can get to. We're playing the Green Bay Packers, week 3 of the preseason. And I go up into the running back coach's office, Kirby Wilson. I said, Kirby, my parents, they want to see their son play in the NFL one time. Just one time. I need to let them know if they need to get their passports ready. I know there's some confusion on the depth chart and the fullbacks and if I'm playing or not. I need to let them know if they need to get their passports ready to be able to make it up to Canada to see their son play in the NFL one time. He said, Alec, I'm going to tell you what. Tell your parents to cancel their trip up to Canada and rebook it for week 1 Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos because you are starting fullback. I got to call my parents on the way home and be like, your son did it. Your son did it. That's the power of support. That's the power of being present. That's the power of listening actively to the people that care about you, willing to listen to what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. All of it added up to that one moment where I could call my parents and say, your son did it. So that's the picture-perfect thing, right? That's the end of the story, right? I get to go off and I get to play in the NFL. No. That was just the beginning. I didn't realize there's a whole other mountain to climb, man. As soon as you get up to that dream, the works doesn't go anywhere. You learn a lot of these lessons, but you got to start all over every single year. So I go from an undrafted rookie with the Oakland Raiders. We travel down to Las Vegas. After a couple years, I start getting in the community, doing work like this, finding my purpose, finding my why, being able to inspire other people to believe in the best version of themselves, playing football. After 3 years with the Raiders, I went from undrafted fullback, just getting a cup of coffee, about to get cut, to a team captain, Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination, leading my team out of the huddle, number 1 fullback on Pro Football Focus, like at the pinnacle of football. At that moment, I'm feeling so good about all these accolades, all the pats on the back, everything that people could introduce me as when I'm up here speaking. It gets to week 9, Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. And they had just won the Super Bowl. They're the top dogs. There's a moment of flipping a coin. I was the coin toss guy. I'm out there against Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes. And Alec Ingold is up there. Like, what? This is the pinnacle. We flipped the coin. I said, hey, Patrick, you better call tails now. You know tails never fails. He kind of looked at me funny, flip. He goes, heads. Lands, tails. Hey, we'll take the ball. Yeah, we'll like to receive. We'll see you guys later. Good luck. I'm hyped. Boys are excited. We're out there, and we are in a dogfight. Second quarter, sold out Sunday night football game. We have a punt play out. And now this is my spot. Like special teams, I do all the dirty work. I'm willing to be there. I set. I'm running out. They have a guy. He jukes me out. He goes this way. I plant. Then he goes that way. I try and go that way, but my knee goes this way. Tear my ACL. For any PTs or doctors out there, that's 9 months of not being able to do what you love to do. Having to reinvent yourself, going from the pinnacle, the very top, and then all of a sudden you find yourself at the very bottom. So I had to make another conscious decision. How am I going to handle this? And I realized all the support that I had received along this way to get there. I knew the answers to the test. I was taught those answers to the test. Let me fill the cup up for others. Let me build this other group of support. Let me give without the intent to receive. All of those life lessons. And that's that book out there. I wrote a book while I was on the training table saying that I was going to be a better fullback after this injury than before, and this is how I'm going to do it. So that anyone that reads that, any kid, any parent, anybody can see a goal and say, I'm going to honestly and intentionally commit to being a better version of myself tomorrow than I was yesterday. Now we can have another little deal of 3 years with the Miami Dolphins coming up. And I had this idea. I'm going to be a better fullback after this injury than before. Last year, team captain, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, we're up there, and a Pro Bowl. First ever. And all those accolades, it's really special, it's really cool. But you understand that's not why you do things. It's about the type of human being you are along the way, the type of people you can impact along the way, the community and the support that you bring each other with and run with. That's the lesson. That's the inspiration. That's the purpose. That's the power of support. So in closing, yeah, accolades are great. Success is great. Goals are awesome. But can you be a better person tomorrow than you were yesterday? How are you going to do that? With support. Parents, being able to be present, creating those core memories with your kids, and then telling them what they need to hear, even when they don't want to hear it. Kids, accepting support, being able to be the best version of yourself courageously. It's scary, but that's the only way that you truly, authentically get to be the best version of yourself. To trail, blaze in your own path, in your own way, to find your own purpose. That's real. That's what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to CCP and all the people that do the amazing work in adoption foster care. Thank you guys.